Hey, what's up everybody? I am live. I haven't done one of these for a little bit. I've been under the weather, have not been feeling great. Hopefully you guys are all doing extremely well. I would like to implore you to all please hit that like button, share out the video. I would definitely appreciate it. It means a lot to me. I know I'm running a little bit behind, and this isn't going to be a super long show. I just wanted to go ahead and kind of get this show out there and just say hi to everybody. What's going on? I see a lot of cool people in the chat already. Again, please hit the like button, share it out, all that kind of great stuff. What's up, One Typical? How's everybody doing? So anyway, if you guys would remember, not too long ago, I had mentioned that the way that Microsoft was changing the way that they actually announce their numbers and stuff like that, it definitely led to believe that it's pretty clear that they aren't going to be expecting any kind of big numbers from the Xbox for the rest of the way. So that's going to be something that's pretty obvious, okay? So at the beginning of this generation, Microsoft reported units sold, Xbox One sold, we got numbers for games that they sold and things like that. Then they changed it to monthly active users. Phil Spencer said pretty flatly, hey, monthly active users are the real way to gauge people's interest in the consoles and things like that. So we heard, hey, monthly active users was going to be it. Then now we hear that it's something else completely, and it's just one of those things where you kind of have to scratch your head a bit and go, well, I wonder what's really going on. What's really going behind all this stuff? So anyway, obviously after taking a big tumble, and I linked this in the description so you guys can check it out, in Q4 2019, the Xbox division kind of stayed level despite the release of their biggest exclusive game of the year, which is Gears of War 5. Which is very interesting. Xbox Live and Xbox Game Pass subscriptions were up, but this was offset by the continuing decline in Xbox One sales. And CFO Amy Hood warned the situation will get worse before it gets better, as new consoles are still over a year away. Surface sales were also down, so they were having a tough time with the software and stuff like that. So basically, if you were wondering how Xbox was doing overall, not great. That's why they lumped everything together sort of with Azure and all that kind of stuff, because they're in this situation where, Xbox just isn't going to do well. Remember last time they had any of these type of things, they talked about how Microsoft was really, people were going through like fatigue and stuff like that, gamer fatigue and all that kind of stuff. Now, is that something that's actually a thing? I don't really know. Like gamer fatigue, is it a thing? I'm not really sure if it actually is or not, but I do know that Xbox is definitely struggling a lot more now than what I think Microsoft is used to, and that pretty much says all you need to know about what Microsoft is kind of going through right now. Again, as you guys all join in, please hit the like button, share out the video. I would definitely appreciate it. It means a lot to me. And let's try and get some people in here, get as many likes as we can. I'm going to answer plenty of questions and stuff like that as well as we continue on, so please go ahead and do that for me. With that being said, if you guys want to know the exact numbers, for the Q1 2020, gaming revenue is down 7%. Hardware sales are down 34%. Service revenue is flat. Obviously, Xbox is no longer reporting live monthly active users, and they're also forecasting Q2 gaming revenue to decline another 25%. So they're absolutely predicting a heavy decline in what's going on. 7% year-on-year Xbox content and services revenue pretty much unchanged. So the interesting thing about this is everybody likes to talk about Microsoft and how they do things, right? Microsoft's out here living in 3019. They are so far ahead of the game because they got the Netflix of video games and blah, blah, blah. We hear this kind of stuff all the time, and I get it. Microsoft really wants that to be the case. Is it the case, though? Is it the case? I tend to start to question that a little bit, because if they want it to be the case for sure, but I'm just not sure that it's actually the situation that we're actually in. And you know what? I really just hope that, Microsoft can get it together for next generation. It's clear that they've given up this gen. I know a lot of people won't believe that or whatever, but it's more than obvious that Microsoft just packed it in. They packed it in probably years ago. Gears of War, again, that's something that is a game that was my favorite franchise, and now it's like we're sitting there kind of, looking at this game that used to be amazing, and now they kind of messed that up to the point where, nobody's even talking about it. We're, 5-6 weeks into it, and we have absolutely, the game's dead. It's like, out of the top 20 on Xbox, it might be out of the top 25 already. So yeah, I definitely think it's definitely a bad situation for them. Gears of War was like their top franchise aside from Halo, and the fact that it's doing so bad now really kind of says all you need to know about sort of what's going on there. I really do hope that they kind of get their stuff together, and I hope that they actually can kind of get, I don't know if they gave up all the way in 2016. They might have gave up a little bit before that. I don't know, because if you think about it, 2015 was the last time they announced a brand new AAA IP exclusive, right? Which was Sea of Thieves. And unfortunately, that just, a lot of people don't look at that as a true AAA IP. And I still do, but 2000, that means they started that in 2014 and haven't announced anything new since then. And that's a big problem. Now, we did get Gears of War 5, which was very underwhelming, but we also have to deal with the fact that, hey, we're not getting another AAA exclusive till, November and December of next year. That's 14 months away. And, we kind of got to put up with that as gamers. And I think that's a little bit of BS. Whereas even though Sony did delay The Last of Us 2, it's still going to come out 6 months before Microsoft's next AAA. So think about that. It already wasn't going to come out for, 4 or 5 months. Now it got delayed into May of next year. And it's still going to come out 6 months before Microsoft comes out with another AAA. So that is very, very bad in my opinion. And we're going to see, sort of a lot of these type of things that come up or whatever. But, I also wanted to point out a few other things. Like, as you guys know, we're starting to get into that time of year when we get into, Black Friday sales and all these kind of deals and stuff like that. Now, there's these leaks that came out that the PlayStation 4 Slim is going to be $150 with games. Absolutely, that is completely incredible in my opinion. And I've heard that that Microsoft is going to have a pretty cheap option out there as well. But I found it to be pretty incredible that that Sony was going to have their console out there for $150 with games. So that's the big thing that's leaked out right now, which I thought was pretty interesting. And again, this is stuff that's actually leaked out, so we don't know. You don't have to say, oh, take that with a grain of salt or whatever, because this is stuff that's actually coming out. They want these things to leak out, well ahead of time, just to make sure that people kind of know what's going on or whatever. So I thought that was very interesting as well, that even though Sony has kind of fallen behind Nintendo this year, they plan on picking that up in plenty of time next year to do some things as well. As you guys are joining me, and I'm going to be answering some questions as well, please hit the like button, share out this video. I definitely appreciate it. It's been a hectic week, to say the least. I've been sick, a lot of stuff, a lot of problems. I've had some car problems and stuff like that. It seems like one thing after another. I don't know if you guys ever get that way, if many of you guys are adults or whatever, but just sometimes, man, it just feels like one bad thing happens after another, and that's just, kind of sucks or whatever. But, hopefully, everybody's out there doing fine, and you guys are all out there having a good time and stuff like that. So I really do appreciate everybody that came out here and watched the video. Please hit the like button and stuff like that. I really do appreciate it. So yeah, I do think that that's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out for this holiday, as Sony does have Death Stranding still to come out, and we'll have to see how that works out with, between them and Microsoft or whatever. But on the other side, there's also all this kind of stuff. I don't know if you guys saw this recently, but I found it to be pretty interesting, which was that Sony was hiring for their new slogan, and it was talking about the world's fastest console. Now, interestingly enough, the world's fastest console. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean to you guys? And I did talk about this the other day a little bit, but what does that really mean for you guys? Like, when they say, hey, we're going to have the world's fastest console, I'm really surprised that that's going to be a thing. Like, it's almost like a parody in and of itself, just because we're so used to this kind of stuff with, Sega back in the day and stuff like that. I just feel like it might not be the smartest move to go out there and kind of advertise as the fastest. I feel like these companies are just sort of swinging for the fences or throwing stuff on the wall and seeing what sticks, because they want people to kind of come out there and, hey, buy our console, or whatever. Like, at the end of the day, man, I'm not sure exactly what people are expecting from these consoles, but I almost get that it's going to be like a bit war, and I'm just happy, I guess, that it's not going to be, it still might be, but ray tracing. I can remember when people were talking about ray tracing, and they were like, hey, ray tracing is kind of this or kind of that, and it's going to be hardware-based on Xbox, and it's going to be software-based on PlayStation, and now we know that it's, hardware-based on both, and, what is it going to be? Is people excited? Blah, blah, blah. So we hear all this kind of stuff, and then it's like, well, what's it all mean? What's it all about? Microsoft claims they're going to have the most powerful console. Sony claims they're going to have the fastest console. What does that mean? I don't even know anymore, to be honest with you. It's super interesting to see exactly how these kind of things come about and how these companies continue to try and push this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, what is it going to be next gen? I feel like these consoles, just my opinion, by the way, and I'm just kind of laid back, having a good time talking with you guys, and hopefully you guys, as you come in and filter in, please hit the like button and share it out. I appreciate it. But I feel like these consoles are going to be closer than any of the consoles we've had in the generations between Xbox and PlayStation. I truly believe that. So I think we're going to have two consoles that are going to be able to do basically the same stuff, and it's going to come down to the content. Once again, Sony's well known for their AAA content. Microsoft isn't. Microsoft tends to struggle there, so I think that that's a definite edge for Sony. But I also think that Microsoft has to be a little bit wary with the power situation, because you don't want to come across as being that much less powerful than the competition, because that they're already looked at as having the better games and more exclusives and stuff like that. So you don't want to also be behind in that part where like the exclusives come into play and stuff like that. So hopefully Microsoft can figure out something. I feel like it's more important for Microsoft to have the power crown than it is for Sony. Sony has this unbelievable fast solid state drive technology that they own, that they're going to be using with the PS5, and that's something that I don't think Microsoft is able to use. They have their own version or whatever, but we haven't seen that. We've actually seen Sony's running, and so I think that that's pretty incredible that what we've seen Spider-Man, which I thought was very cool, how fast that loaded, because that game is notorious for loading pretty slow. So it's very interesting to see that kind of work out, how it has worked out, because, at the end of the day, Sony's not stupid. They definitely know what they're doing, and they definitely know how to like draw people in or whatever. So hopefully, you guys are understanding that as well. What's up, Snakes? I see you out there, man. What's up, Matt? He says, love PlayStation. They beat Xbox again. It's not really hard to beat Xbox though at this point, right? Eric, Kurdish Gamer says, you're a great, awesome YouTuber. Thank you. If you guys think so, please hit the like button. I appreciate it. One Typical says, fastest console is going to have a lot to do with loading times. Crap. I agree. I think it's going to have a lot to do with loading times. I do think that, that Sony has the idea right. I think that they have this way to draw people in, the immersion and stuff like that. What's up, Triple Cup Chuck? And you're up. I appreciate it, man. You haven't been out in a while. Craig the Tech Guy says, hey, Crap, do you think numbers will change with Christmas sales any? I think that we might see the PlayStation 4 actually come out on top. Think about it, okay? Nintendo, they're going to have some sales, but you're going to be able to pick up a PS4 with games like God of War and Spider-Man for $150. That is incredibly cheap. Even if you only use it for a year or so, those games are worth it in my opinion. So I do think that we're going to see that coming from Sony in the future as well. Please hit the like button as you guys come in. I appreciate it. There's going to be a lot of sales for Microsoft as well, but I just think that Sony tends to run away with it. They always have the better sales because they have the better exclusives, and so we have to kind of remember that going forward. That hey, they're the ones with the bigger exclusives, and people recognize their games more. Excuse me, guys. My throat's been killing me. I've been pretty sick lately. Not unlike how it normally is around this time of year. It just kind of depends, like I've been completely under the weather. I hate it. It's been costing me from doing podcasts. I was going to go bring back Xbox Nation this week, but being sick, I wasn't able to do that. So I don't think I'm going to be able to make Crossfire tonight either, but I just wanted to kind of get maybe an hour show in ahead of time just to be able to talk about some of this stuff and, just kind of get the word out or whatever as you guys kind of join in. I do appreciate everybody if you would just like and share out the video, and then talk about some more of this stuff as well. Yeah, Black Friday stuff is going to be very interesting to see how it is. One Typical says, I've been sick this week too. Yeah, it is that time of year, it's just very unfortunate that it's one of those things where we kind of have to deal with all this sickness and stuff like that. But yeah, I did want to talk a little bit about it because I do feel bad a little bit for Microsoft. They're in this bad situation where nobody's buying their console. They're calling it, console fatigue or what have you. But you also have a situation where they just lost one of their biggest executives in Mike Ibarra. And Mike Ibarra has went to Blizzard Entertainment. Does that surprise anybody out there? Because it kind of did take me by surprise. The fact that they're out there, he's out there with, that they're going to be out there doing that. Hold on. Simon Brandy says, hey, Crap, Review Tech reported the rumor that Scarlet GPU will be a gen ahead of PS5. Won't matter without content, of course. Well, listen, I guess that really just depends on what it is. Is it going to be a whole generation ahead? I don't know. Like, I hadn't really heard that. But if it is, that could be a big thing for Microsoft. Are people going to matter? Is it going to really matter, though, if all that Microsoft announces is another Halo and Forza? I feel like Microsoft is definitely past the time where they're going to have to get out there and start announcing some stuff. And, it's well past that time for them to be able to sort of do that. So, yeah. What's up, Ryzen Gamer? As you guys get in here, please hit the like button. I would appreciate it. It definitely means a lot to me when you guys come in here just kind of spontaneously and do this. Hot Man says, Crap Gamer, Sony isn't going against Xbox, they're going against themselves. E3 2015 especially. That could be it. You never know. Crap, when are you going to get back into gaming? I know you've been on a break, which I do too from time to time. I have Modern Warfare. I'm downloading it. It turns out to be a pretty big install on the Xbox One X. So I am downloading that, but I have it paused for this podcast. So yeah, I am playing that. Also, I was playing the Ghostbusters Remastered, so I was kind of getting that out there as well. But if you guys are just joining me, please share this out. Hit the like button. If you didn't know, yeah, it does look like Microsoft, they're kind of stalling. Do you guys think that maybe these companies announce these next consoles a little bit too soon, right? Remember how things used to be? We'd get a console announcement at E3 and they'd come out that year or something like that. And now it's like, we literally got a Scarlet announcement years ago, remember? And now it's like, they were getting new information about it. It really hampers what Microsoft is really, maybe Microsoft more so than Sony, but it really seems to be hampering, what's going on in the gaming industry, right? Like, Microsoft has nobody to blame but themselves, in my opinion, for this, and it does kind of suck. I just kind of wonder what you guys all think about it, because if you think about it, Sony has their stuff announced too, and it's not hampering them nearly as much, and they have over 100 million consoles out there. We're not sure what Microsoft has, but we know that it's well below that by at least 50-some million. So, yeah, like, I feel like it has really hampered it. I just really think that that's something that, Microsoft has going against them as well. Is just that they had, they've had all this time, and they announce this other stuff, right? Stuff that pisses me off. I don't know if this should piss me off, but they picked up another streamer from Twitch. You know what I mean? And who's his name? His name is Shroud. Now, I've never heard of him. Apparently, he's some big streamer or whatever. It doesn't really matter to me one way or the other, because I think like that stuff's kind of lame. But man, I still feel crappy. But yeah, anyway, again, you can imagine the type of deals that these streamers are picking up, okay? And now we've got it to where, these guys are making all this money, and Microsoft promotes them, and they put them on their dashboard and all this kind of stuff, and we haven't had a single game announcement in years, like a new big game announcement in literally years. Even when we saw Halo, we didn't get any kind of real game announcement or whatever. So how much I don't know how much they paid for him. I hope that they didn't pay too much. You know, I hope that it wasn't like an incredibly large amount or something. But yeah, I do feel like they probably paid, you know, they still make millions, right? And from what I understand, they haven't even been able to beat, you know, like Facebook gaming or whatever. So that's a little bit unfortunate. Hold on your kill list says paying Shroud big bucks to try and legitimize Mixer. Yeah, I don't know. You know, how is that more legitimate than Ninja? At least I've heard of that guy. That chip he's talking about is Arcturus, which knows anything about it all. So who knows, man? They just need games. Yeah, I'm of this route, right? Look how much more powerful the Xbox One X is than the PS4 or PS4 Pro or the Switch, and it still sells the worst among all of them. Now, what's the reason for this? Okay, it's pretty obvious, the lack of content. People will they'll still bring up 2013 or whatever. That stuff's long forgotten. Okay, what's up, Jerome? I appreciate it. Zero Games for me says all streamers are relevant to me. I agree. Well, listen. Here's another instance of these streamers that are playing on PC, by the way. Okay, they're not even playing on Xbox. So you have to kind of just wonder what's going on there as well. Like, at the end of the day, Microsoft can do much better than this, and I hope that they do decide to do better than this long term. You know, I just feel like they're trying to grow. Like, Microsoft is trying to grow the wrong things. You know what I mean? In my opinion, you know, they're really trying to grow like this streaming services and, you know, and their own streaming thing with Mixer. Oh man, I might not be able to talk much more. Holy crap. That sucks. Oh. I'm running out of drink too, y'all. The only thing I got sitting next to me here is some vodka, and I don't think that's going to work out too well for anybody. But anyway, yeah. So they're trying to grow this weird stuff that some of it really has nothing to do with the video games themselves, and that's a really bit unfortunate in my opinion. Hopefully, they can get back that core gamer, because I feel like that core gamer is something that they've missed out for a very long time. Now, at the end of the day, I do hope that they can kind of rebound, because I feel like we need that they actually need to actually like be competition. You know, like I just hope that they can actually accomplish that and get some things going that you know that they haven't really had before. And hopefully that's something that they can do. Like, all these companies can do better. And as you guys join in, please hit the like button, share it out. I do appreciate it. Hey, one typical. I'm not falling asleep on you guys. I just been not feeling great, you know. So, yeah, I know, right? Snakes, what's up? I appreciate. Dave says I would bet that Xbox One X that they up the storage. They could be. I don't know. Hey, hit the like button though. Maybe we can get up over 100. I'd appreciate it. Yeah, I'm trying to, man. Cough drops, right? Hopefully I can get something going there. Anyway, yeah, Crossfire is going to happen. I'm just, I don't know if I'm going to be there or not. I'm not sure how I'm going to hold up, but we'll have to see how that works out. So, yeah, so anyway, I do. Xbox Nation will be back. Probably not this upcoming Wednesday, but the Wednesday after it. I took a little break for a couple weeks. If you guys didn't know, man, I feel a little burnt out sometimes with all this stuff. You know, there wasn't a whole heck of a lot to talk about. And then when there is stuff to talk about, you know, I was sick this past Wednesday, so I was like, eh. And then this upcoming Wednesday, I have a prior commitment, so it'll be like almost a month off from that show. But it's like I have the hunger to continue doing this stuff. It just feels like, you know, sometimes I got to be honest, you know, like YouTube, like they don't send out my notifications to people and that are subscribed to me, and just so sometimes it just does make it a little bit more difficult because I try hard, and you know, and it's like YouTube doesn't really want to you know, help me out or anything. So, you know, I really do hope that that YouTube kind of gets their stuff together. Sometimes things go great and you can tell things are going good, and then sometimes on YouTube, like I have like my phone, which is subscribed to myself, and I'm supposed to get notifications right when I go live, and I don't get them all the time, even though I hit the bell and all that kind of stuff. So you can check your analytics, and I see that like a lot of times 1% or less get a notification from my video, which kind of sucks, kind of defeats the purpose of the whole thing. But I still keep trying and stuff like that. But I do think that the Mike Ibarra thing was interesting, and I want to get back to that. Simply put, Mike Ibarra was Microsoft's big honcho, right? He was actually a vice president at Microsoft, and he decides to leave Microsoft for what? For Blizzard. And Blizzard is going through like this weird thing right now anyway, and people are kind of mad at him or whatever. So I thought that was very interesting to see, see that kind of pop up the way that it did. And I'm hope that, I wish him well. I got nothing against Mike. That probably suits him a little bit better, dealing with like mostly PC stuff or whatever, because I do feel like, that he's more into like the PC side of stuff than he is anything else. So I do hope that that's something that he can get into, and that and he does well over there. So I do think that it suits him a little bit better. You have to wonder, how much money did they pay him? Is he getting paid more doing that than he did being a vice president of Microsoft? I don't know, but it is very interesting to see somebody leave after 20 years, and he just got promoted a couple years ago and had such ties to Xbox. It's so strange to me to see that kind of happen. And now he's working for Blizzard, who ends up having a lot more hate. Like, does Blizzard have more hate than Xbox at this time? I don't even know that for sure, but it's very interesting to see how that kind of works out or whatever, and if how he's going to do long term there. So yeah, he's confirmed it's Blizzard now. So Dave, streaming won't be mainstream for at least another 10 years. Well, we'll have to see how it works. How bad must it be at Microsoft to leave and go to Blizzard in their current climate? That was my point that I made too, right? So if you think about it, you leave Microsoft, and it's just one of those things where now he's doing something else, and he wants to be. I don't know exactly why you would do that, though. Leave Microsoft for this other company, and this other company is in the midst of all this kind of turmoil and stuff like that. So I think that is a little bit strange. But at the end of the day, man, I don't know. That seems to be like his own thing or whatever. What streaming service has sold the most? You mean like Twitch or whatever? Or do you mean like PlayStation Now versus, well, there's only PlayStation Now right now. So xCloud isn't really a thing yet. They're just doing that stuff, and Stadia doesn't kick off until November. So right now it's just PlayStation Now. So I don't like any of that stuff, to be honest with you. Sad that Microsoft is just going to roll over and give up. I agree. Rich, what's up, my friend? Please hit the like button as you guys join in. I'd like to get up over 100 likes. Crap, do you think Game Pass is hurting Xbox overall? I made this point the other day, so I really appreciate this question. Is it hurting Xbox? It's actually yes and no. Okay? I feel like it's a tremendous value for gamers, but I feel like the games that get in there, the AAA games, are mostly games that failed expectations on what's up, Dark Lord Alu? What's up, Doom Turkey? What's up, Daniel B? So, like, here's the thing. I think that it's a good thing, and it's a good value. But I feel like the AAA games that end up in there are games that flopped commercially. So, like the Metros and the Shadow of the Tomb Raiders, I feel like those games kind of flopped, and that's why they're in there. And then I just feel like Microsoft used Game Pass early on to put their unfinished, like, games as a service games. The Sea of Thieves, the Crackdown 3s, the State of Decay 2s. Like, those games are very mediocre, and they put those games in there, and I feel like that's, people look at that as a budget type of situation. Now, when it comes to stuff like Gears or Forza, I feel like Forza is niche anyway. It's a very niche type of product. So I feel like, with that being said, it maybe helped people that maybe weren't interested in Forza, because I know some people that were like, I've always heard Forza was good, and now I tried it, and it is good. Okay, well, that makes sense. But with Gears of War, it's like they put it in there specifically. And the thing that pissed me off about Gears, because as you guys know, I'm a big fan of Gears. I got a tattoo. I played them all. I put probably over 1,000 hours in the whole franchise. So there's obviously people out there that have more than me, but I also tend to have more than a lot of people as well. So I like this franchise. Originally, Rod Ferguson said, hey, you know what? We're not going to worry about Game Pass. We're just going to build a great game, and then we'll see what happens. And then right as Gears was coming out, he did an interview with, I believe, Polygon, where he informed everybody that he made Gears of War 5 specifically for Game Pass. And the things that he did for Game Pass gamers, which was very casualized and very casual in the approach. Like the arcade mode, the forgiving aiming, the crossplay stuff, the way that they took out the damage increase from doing the active reload with the shotgun. Like, these are things that Gears were all about since the beginning. And then with the campaign, right? Like, how do you have so many bugs and issues with your campaign? I don't understand it. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And I just thought it was a little bit weird the way that they handled that. So Gears of War is like a dude bro shooter or whatever. But I just feel like, Microsoft is a little bit ashamed of that for some reasons. And I hope that they can actually, get out of that. Because I'm not saying, like, here's the thing. It's not like I've changed my thoughts on this. I just feel like Kate, JD, and Dell are just kind of boring characters, right? And to me, they just, that sticks very true. They're just so boring, and I don't like them. Now, when you first play and you're, Dom and Marcus, and then you meet up later with Coltrane and Baird, those are likable characters. They're dude bros. I get it. I'm not saying you can't have girls in there, because there are obviously girls, and people would play as the females in the multiplayer back in the day as well. But it was like they tried to just make it like Kate Diaz and some Gears, And I think that was definitely the wrong way to go about it. And Microsoft tends to like do this sometimes, and they almost ruined Halo 5 doing that, right? Like, they put in a bunch of characters. They put in, like, I can't even tell you who was in that game besides from Master Chief, Buck, and Locke. Like, I don't remember any of the other characters. So, yeah, it's weird that they do that. Do I believe, after all these reports, the PS5 is more powerful than the Scarlet? I still tend to think that Scarlet's going to be more powerful, quote-unquote. But I think that Sony might actually have an advantage with the price point. And obviously, they're going to have some kind of advantage with their content as well. So I do think that they're going to have that going for them, and I think that that's going to be something that helps them out tremendously going forward. And that's going to be a big advantage for them over Microsoft, because if you look at who has the advantages right now, the advantages are clearly Nintendo and Sony. Okay. And that's just facts right now. Nobody can kind of dispute that. That's just facts. Right now, it's all about Sony. It's all about Nintendo. Nobody really cares much about Xbox. I'm not saying Xbox can't do well or that nobody wants Xbox ever again. I'm just saying that right now they're having a pretty tough time of it, just because, simply put, they've had a tough time of it. They've had a trouble putting games out, and that's very unfortunate, because They own so many good IPs, but it's like if it isn't, the typical Gears, Forza, or Halo, it's like they really stopped caring, and that's completely unfortunate, because I feel like they're so much better than that, and they deserve better than that, and the fans, we deserve better than that. That's what really pisses me off as a fan, the fact that over the years we've had to put up with so much crap from Microsoft, and they never announce anything. Do you notice that? Like, we're just expected to be like, la-di-da, Phil Spencer's great. Who cares if they announce anything? Like, for me personally, that grew old a long time ago. Okay? I want stuff to be announced more regularly. I think I'm not the only one. Even if you're a hardcore Xbox fan, there's plenty of Xbox fans that I know that actually feel that same way. And so that's what we need. We need Microsoft to get out there and announce some damn games, to give people faith into the brand and that quality that we once had. So I'm hoping that they can do that, and if they can achieve that, everybody will be happy. Like, if they are able to come out next year, and I'm not going to say wait till E3 because I think that's BS, but if they do come out next year and they go, hey, here's Halo, we've got Forza, we've got Fable, and here's a little sneak peek of something from the Initiative and one other studio, and it looks impressive, hey, I think that's going to look good for them. And if they happen to have the more powerful console, even better. But I don't think Microsoft has the balls about them to go out and do something like that. I think that that's where they continue to fail. And that's very, very unfortunate. And I hope that they can get that fixed out because we need that competition. Excuse me. We need that competition there. We need these companies to compete with each other and want to do the best for the gamers because we're what matters most. Gamer O'Malley, that's an interesting stat. He says in the last 2 quarter reports, Xbox has lost over $440 million. Again, a lot of people will tell you that Xbox is fine and they're making money, and yeah, they're not. MGP Devil says Stadia, pay for hardware, rent, pay full price for each game, own nothing. Yeah, I've always had this problem with the Stadia or xCloud, no matter what it is. I just feel like these things aren't going to be great. As you guys all come in, please hit the like button, share it out. I really do appreciate you guys coming out to watch. Let's get us over 100 likes. I would really appreciate that. Half Pint says Microsoft has zero buzz whatsoever. Conversation is all about Sony with the PS5, Death Stranding, Last of Us 2, etc. Again, I couldn't agree more. I feel like this is something that Sony strives at and Microsoft really fails at. They never get any kind of hype going, okay? If you look at Mooch is very excited to play unknown games on Stadia. You know what? More power to Mooch and J-Dubs and those guys. Anybody that wants to play Stadia, I'm not going to knock it. I'm just saying, in my life, I found it almost impossible to break away and have a time where I could play a game on a phone, break out my fanny pack and my controller and this and that. Like, that doesn't seem like fun to me. That doesn't sound like something that I'm going to do. I have different various handheld games consoles, and I rarely use them, if ever. And when I use the Switch, it's docked. It's always on the TV and stuff like that. So again, I would just love to know who's going to go out there and ain't going to be doing that. It doesn't make a ton of sense to me, and I do hope that that Microsoft kind of changes and does something differently. And listen, I want Microsoft to knock it out of the park, man. XO, why even wait till next E3? Sony's already announced so much stuff. Get out there and start announcing some stuff for XO. I think that could be great, but they have to go out there and do it. They have to go out there and get people excited. When we look at what's going on with Xbox, people aren't excited. They're not very happy at all. And I think we need them to be. We need people to go, you know what? I'm going to get me an Xbox. That Xbox looks like it's going to be amazing. Instead we've got Xbox fans and Xbox fanboys that kind of damage control for multiplats like Outer Worlds because you can play it for $1. Come on, man. That's a multiplat. It's probably going to sell way better on the PS4. People should and do pay for great games. And the game looked like it got some pretty good review scores. Again, that speaks to the future of Xbox. They could definitely have something big next generation as well. So hopefully it's something that they can actually get out there and take advantage of. So I'm answering a lot more questions in the chat. If you have any, please hit the like button, share it out. Ryzen Gamer says, I wonder if Mooch finished Sekiro. I don't know if he did or not. Sonic says, I agree with MGB on stream, and I purchased anime from the Xbox video store and got removed before I could watch all episodes I can't watch what I bought. What's up, TLR9? Thank you very much. I don't know if I'm going to be in Crossfire tonight, man. I feel like crap, but I hadn't done a live video for a few days, and so I just kind of wanted to touch base for a little bit and just have a good time and kind of talk and stuff like that. So if you guys are watching, please hit the like button, share it out. I would definitely appreciate it. Having a good time here, just doing my thing. Fanny Pack Gaming, Mario Heat says that, somebody is celebrating that you can play Outer Worlds on Xbox for $1. That's what's wrong. Listen, Nintendo Switch guy says Captain Flip Flop is at it again. I see. That's me. That's me. A flip flop of Mario. Oh. No, listen. I didn't flip flop. Microsoft did. I've always been about big exclusives. But anyway, listen. You can be excited about Game Pass. I have nothing. I think Game Pass is fine. But again, for me personally, it's like, unless Game Pass had stuff that I literally wanted to play and that I buy like every year or every other year, there's not a whole hell of a lot, a point to it, right? Like, hey, I want to play, something with the kids or whatever, like, again, it just, I think it's set up for them, but for me personally, as a hardcore gamer, I'm not as much into Game Pass as what a lot of people maybe would be, right? Like, for example, I've never even used it myself. I have had it, and I have it till 2022, thanks to that dollar upgrade thing. But I've never even used it. I was going to use it for Gears 5, but then I got a free review code. So there was literally no reason for me to use Game Pass right now. In fact, when Game Pass first came out, me and Mooch were giving it away on M&C. People were giving us year codes, right? And nobody wanted these things. No, we were getting 3-month code, 1-month code, year codes. We were giving it away on M&C, and people were asking for like anything else. They were asking like for a $5 arcade game, because nobody wanted to play that stuff. So yeah, it is definitely strange to see how far things have come along since that point in time. But hey, it kind of is what it is. Hit the like button. We're very close. Make a show called Xbox Nation. A generation passes, bashes Xbox on Xbox Nation. Listen, we could change that to whatever. It doesn't really matter what it's called. I try not to bash it, but I did bring in people that are specifically Xbox fans. So it's not like it's just 4 or 5 PlayStation people bashing Xbox the whole time. We have people that like Xbox, people that like PlayStation, people like everything. So, that's what we like to do. What's wrong with Game Pass if you want to play? I like Game Pass. I think that Game Pass is fine. Okay? Duramente says the Initiative 2024 Playground Games Fable 2023. You could be right. What are we going to see? I mean, I hope that we get a Fable announcement sooner rather than later. Like, that's one of my favorite franchises. We definitely need to see something from them. And I would love to see something sooner rather than later, just because at the end of the day, that's one of my favorite franchises. And again, I just would like to see that. But again, at the same time, I still think that, it really just comes down to people's perception of Xbox. Is Xbox going to have quality games? Listen, The Outer Worlds scoring, an 85, 86 or whatever, I think that's pretty cool. I think that what they've done is pretty cool with that. I think that was pretty smart, the way that they've been able to kind of achieve that or whatever. But Xbox dude celebrating that as a reason to buy Xbox, I don't agree with that at all, because I feel like there's different reasons to own these things depending on which one's your favorite or whatever. So you do have to kind of consider that as well. Like for me personally, when you look at what the Xbox is capable of doing versus what some of these other consoles are doing, what I mean is most people I know that have a Nintendo Switch, they have The Witcher 3 on PS4 Pro or Xbox One X or whatever, or even PC, but they buy it on the Switch again. Why? Because it's portable and they can take it with them or do whatever they want. And so there is that sort of person that has that ability to do that, and I understand that completely. Just for me personally, I'm just saying, I don't like want to double dip or anything like that, but I do understand when people do, and I'm totally for it. If you're really if you're really all about that, then I think that that's something that, hey, you should be able to do that and have a good time with it or whatever. So I do hope that The Outer Worlds is good. I'm not going to knock it and say, hey, I hope The Outer Worlds sucks, because I do think that I hope it's good. That is a future studio that's going to make exclusives if Microsoft wants them to. So we'll have to kind of wait and see how that goes. Why is Sony seeking Microsoft's help to battle Google and Amazon? I don't know. Did you gear... Oh, hold on. This was something good. T-Rock says, did you hear the silence on the dev leaving the initiative going back to Rockstar? So, listen. This is perfect. Everybody hit the like button. I would love to get up, over that 100 like mark. It would be pretty awesome. if I could get there. So speaking about this, so this guy, if you guys didn't know, there was this developer who worked for Rockstar, and which, by the way, we're like 20 something away from getting over 100. So there was this developer who worked for Rockstar. Then he ended up quitting and going to work for the Initiative. Okay, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, this guy just left Rockstar. They got another great developer. He's working for the Initiative. It's great." And then a year later, he quits the Initiative and goes back to Rockstar. Now he's like co-lead or something like that. Totally understandable. I get it, right? But when you look at one of the people who works at the Initiative, his name's Drew Murray. He tweeted out, "Oh, well, this guy was only coming in to work 2 days a week because he had to, he lived in San Diego or whatever, and so it was hard for him to come in and work." So literally for a year, this guy worked 2 days a week where he actually went into the office. And supposedly he was working remotely the rest of the time, which is pretty difficult if you're a developer. So people like to make fun of me and give me crap for bringing up all the times that the Xbox Game Studios people post pictures of themselves eating or, out having brunch or whatever. Well, it's strange to me because, I just find that to be very, very weird that happened. And I hope that they can actually sort of change that later on. You know what I mean? Like show some people doing some work, getting some things done. But I did find that a little bit funny that you didn't hear anything happening, not even so much as a chirp, when this kind of stuff was going on. So I did find that a little bit funny, to say the least. So let me see. Answer some more questions. Go ahead. Let's see. Go ahead and ask some question. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Go ahead and ask some questions because I'm going to stick around for a little bit longer. Let's see. I think I saw a good one. I heard Microsoft fighting with Google Stadia, not much Sony. Well, listen. Microsoft, why are they fighting with Stadia to begin with? Why would you fight with Stadia, who is going to launch with nothing? Listen, you want to know what Google Stadia is doing? They're having one of the worst launches I've ever seen in my life. Okay? We give Microsoft crap for not having any exclusives. Stadia is launching with 0 exclusive content, and they just come out and go, "Hey, you know what? We're going to have some exclusives, but you know what? I just think that, it's just one of those things, where we're going to have exclusive years from now." And they open up like one studio, and they're like, "But we're already showing you exclusive content and how that's going to work. Orcs Might Die 3 or whatever it is." Like, who really cares about that game or 2 months timed exclusivity on a spinoff of Darksiders, right? Like, that stuff's not going to get it done. You need your own action-packed AAA games, and they're years and years away from it. I think they'll probably be closed down before they can even get anything out. But, man, their Wi-Fi controllers aren't even Wi-Fi at launch. They created this artificial demand saying they're sold out of Founders Editions. How many did they have? Let's just be honest, okay? And this is easy to look up. Remember when Microsoft said the Xbox One X is the most pre-ordered console in the history of Xbox? And they still lost the NPD big time to PlayStation 4 that month, right? So even the Xbox One X launching and breaking the records and all this kind of stuff didn't do anything to help them beat the PlayStation 4. So people have to keep that in mind as well. My thoughts on The Last of Us 2 delay, huh? You know what? I think a delayed game can be good, but a broken game or a bad game is just always going to be bad or broken. So there is that kind of situation, and I do feel like, that's something that, hey, good for them. They delayed it. Why announce something, though? Why did they announce this after they just literally announced the release date to this game not too long ago, right? What was it, 3 weeks ago? So it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So I haven't talked to Rand very often. I would like to get to talk to him, but I think that maybe You know, maybe he's not digging the old CG lately. I don't think we have any issues, but I just think he does his own thing. I would like to have him on there though. Red Dead Redemption 2 is amazing. I can go ahead and point that out. It's been a while. Let the fanboy games. Oh, okay. Yeah, please hit the like button while you're out here though. They're going to act like the Rockstar guy leaving news never happened and bring up something that makes them seem all right. Yeah, the guy that served Neil Druckmann his lunch at Burger King, he's working for Xbox now, and so they're going to bring that up about how amazing that is. Have you seen those amazing 2K20 glitches? I was going to buy this game, okay, because as some of you might know, I'm a big WWE fan, okay? You might even say I'm a bit of a mark. So I buy the WWE games almost every year. This year, they held off on showing any kind of gameplay, and now I've seen gameplay, and I made a joke on Twitter yesterday. I said, WWE 2K20 is so bad that it might as well be an Xbox exclusive because it reminds me a lot of those, how many glitches and stuff are in there. It just is so bad. Like, how did they mess it up so bad where, like, you go through the ropes and the ground and the people look terrible? Like, it looks worse than any of the other games that I played. Like, this is really kind of a joke, in my opinion, the way that they've kind of put this game out. And if you're a wrestling fan, it sucks because you look forward to that game. I know a lot of people go, oh, well, you know what? It's just wrestling or whatever. It's fake, blah, blah, blah. A lot of people look forward to this stuff every single year. So, yeah, you got to keep that in mind as well. You know, just in my opinion, you got to be able to understand that, you know, a lot of people are wrestling fans. I am too. I look forward to this game every year. And the fact that, you know, we have to wait and it's such trash just explains it all. It's like, oh, man, that sucks. But have you guys ever seen a generation where we get games that are so utterly broken at launch? Like, I didn't even play Borderlands 3, but I heard that had a lot of issues. Gears, obviously, I suffered a lot of issues with that. Days Gone had issues. NBA 2K has issues. WWE 2K has issues. There's so many issues with these games. I just don't understand it. Like, last generation, we had some issues, but nothing nearly as bad as what we get nowadays. It's just absolutely unbelievable the way that almost every game we see and play has so many issues. Rumble Foreskin says Sony will have the CPU crown, Xbox GPU. This could be it. Enrico says, I really miss THQ WWE games. They were great. They were pretty good, huh? I miss them too. What's your thoughts on Fallout 76 subscription service? Like that $100 thing, I think Xbox fans will probably be used to that kind of stuff, right? But for me, it doesn't make a lot of sense to do that, right? Like, why would you have a subscription service? If anything, I think Fallout 76 should be a free-to-play game. So, yeah, very interesting to see that. Very upsetting to see exactly how these things are going to work going forward. But, again, I hate this games as a service stuff, guys. I think there's a place for it, but not everything has to be games as a service. Look at what Microsoft is doing. They're trying to make everything a games as a service. And then when you look at something like Ubisoft, right? They just delayed all their games. Why? Because Ghost Recon Breakpoint is exactly like their last Ghost Recon game, but it's broken and they rushed it and there's nothing in it, right? So they delayed all their other games. It took a stock hit or whatever, and that sucks for them. But people are looking forward to certain type of games and they want their games. And when you kind of have these things kind of broken or whatever, it really can hamper things. Like people don't want them anymore. Okay, you can irreparably damage your own franchises doing that, okay? And that's just the truth of the matter. That's not like BS or anything like that. If you put out a bad version of a game or a bad version of a franchise of your game, then that can absolutely happen, and then you can see people, kind of abandon that franchise later on as it comes about. Crap, I just ate a handful of edibles. Your sick voice is putting me to sleep. Hey, sorry about that, man. I'm doing my best to try to do a little bit of talking. Trying to, if you guys want to ask some questions, I would appreciate it. Thoughts on Modern Warfare? I don't have it installed totally yet. It's a big install on the Xbox One X. Hit the like button, you guys. I would appreciate it. Looking forward to getting, did we get over 100 likes, man? We should be able to get over 100 likes. Come on, man. I'm sick. Let's do it. Let's get over 100 likes and see if we can't get people, sharing this out. Oh, we do have 100 likes finally, thankfully. That's pretty awesome. Almost every game slotted for early 2020 has been delayed from all publishers. Yes, exactly. Enrico says Fallout 76 belongs on Game Pass. I got that game for free, and I haven't even played it yet. I'm bad. I know. It's like, I really wish that it was great. When was the last straw for you? Xbox was going down a path that you didn't want to follow. Okay, well, I can explain this. This is a pretty simple one for me to explain. So, I started to notice that Xbox was doing this kind of weird stuff where they wanted to let everybody play everything. And I'm not against other people playing other things, okay? Just to be clear, I'm perfectly fine with that. The part that I sort of had a problem with was this past E3. And I started looking into the last time they announced a AAA exclusive, which was 2015. And I'm like, well, what's the point of Xbox? What's the point of any of this stuff if all we're going to get is no game announcements? A1 typical. I appreciate you doing that, hitting that. Every bit helps. But for me, it was seeing Phil Spencer up there this past E3, and he was once again trying to sell us, he was trying to sell us another piece of Xbox hardware with no new exclusives to go with it. That was the point for me. Okay? Hold on. This is a good question, too. TZ83 says, Crapgamer, tell me why you stick around for Xbox. PS5 will win next gen. You have to speak with your wallet. I'm not planning on buying an Xbox to launch next generation. Just kind of pointing that out there. There's no, I'm not planning on buying one. So, that's just the truth from my part. I'm planning on buying a PS5, but I'm not planning on buying the Xbox Scarlet. I'm gonna buy a PS5. And, Microsoft would really have to impress the hell out of me with exclusive content to get me on board with, anything regarding their next console. I don't trust Microsoft to announce anything, and I just feel like they're going to kind of drop the ball tremendously. So hopefully they can, continue to change some things around and get some people excited about some stuff again, because as of right now, literally not excited about anything that they're doing, and I hope that sort of changes sooner rather than later, because they've really dropped the ball where the exclusives count, and unfortunately, that's that pisses me off. I really feel like they have to kind of pick up that slack, and we deserve better as fans. That's the main problem I have, is we deserve better as fans, and they won't give us better. That sucks. So hopefully that answers your question. Let me see. What won Game of the Year 2020? Man, it's been sort of a lackluster year. Just pointing that out to you guys. So, for me, what won Game of the Year? I don't know. I still think Death Stranding has a good shot. Other than that, I don't know. Some people say Shadows Die Twice. Some people say Resident Evil 2 Remake. So, realistically, I don't know 100% for sure yet. We'll have to see how that works out. Obscura Art says, not saying it will definitely change for anyone else, but nothing is going to change for Xbox with Phil in charge. This could be true. Now Truth says 5 is going to be GTA 5 role-playing mod where you can play as a cop. Oh, that's funny. Are you looking forward to Death Stranding? I'm a bit scared to pre-order. I supposedly am getting a copy for free from this dude who bet me. He bet me that we would get, that Gears 5 would actually get a 85 or a 95 Metacritic, and he was completely wrong. So, yeah, I ended up, that was a pretty easy bet to win, and so hopefully that kind of works out. Again, it's one of those things where you never know if people are going to pay up or not, but hopefully he does. Jay Fast says, Halo 5 is great, best $8 I ever spent. Listen, Halo 5 is okay, but it's not a good Halo game. That's the problem that I had with it, and hopefully you guys kind of understand that as well, where I'm coming from. Hippie Crusher says, Larry the Cable Guy Stranding, package delivery boy. Listen, we don't really know what that game's about specifically, but, it looks interesting. Nobody can deny that it's interesting, and it's probably something that we haven't really played before. So, I'm looking forward to it, to try it out and see if it's something that I can enjoy on some kind of level. And if I can, hey, better props to me for doing that, because I think that, I am sort of excited to see it. And listen, Kojima has a bit of a pedigree. Maybe this game came out a little bit fast. We'll have to see how that works out, but it is exciting to see a new IP this late in the generation. Maybe we can see something come from it. I hope that we can. So just my particular opinion anyway. So I'm going to answer a few more questions and then get the hell up out of here. Game Trailers talks a lot of trash for someone who loses a lot of bets. Listen, that guy loses a ton of bets. A ton of bets. So, yeah, he bets with his heart, not his head. Crazy Old School says, I believe Sony and Microsoft will bring it next generation, especially Microsoft. They know they screwed up. They have to. They 100% have to. They've got to get out there and show people what they're all about. Hopefully they can do it. I really do. I really do think so. Let's see. I'm going to answer a couple more questions. Let's see. Crazy Old School says, I hope Death Stranding is a good, at least a 7.5 to 8. I hope so too as well. You're talking about Game Trailers. Yeah, he owes me a copy of Death Stranding, so yeah. Half Pint says, anyone expecting polished AAA games from Microsoft, given where they're going with Game Pass, are dreaming. Simply not going to be profitable enough for them. That's something I worry about as well. So, I feel like some of their games are pretty good, are quality. But then you have some of this stuff where it's like State of Decay 2 was littered with bugs. You had Sea of Thieves that had no content. You had Crackdown 3, which was just pretty terrible. I mean, for 5 years, I'm not saying you can't have fun with Crackdown 3. I'm just saying for 5 years out, that game needed to be something different. And I feel like that's very, very unfortunate. I'm going to answer a few more questions before getting out of here. Is it true PS3 is going offline in 20? I haven't heard that at all. Game Pass is a good value. I'm not saying that it's not. I'm just saying, listen, Game Pass or PS Now would be a good value for stuff like, if like Concrete Genie and PlayStation Now day and date would have been good. Okay, State of Decay 2, State of Decay 3, those type of games are good value to go in day and date. Stuff like Gears 5 or God of War is not good value. Those are your big AAA games that cost you $100 million to make. How are you going to make that back when you're offering $1 subs? Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Crackdown 3, The Beast says, Crackdown 3 was amazing. I disagree. What is my hype level for Ghost of Tsushima? I'm hyped for it. I think it's going to be pretty damn good. I hope that it can be something amazing. Enrico says, it is really hard to win back fans. It might take a while for Microsoft to make a strong comeback. I agree 100%. TZ from We All Made PlayStation Nation, he says, I have the God of War PS4 Pro, and I also pre-ordered Death Stranding PS4 Pro on the pre-order for that baby jar bundle. Always Sony. Dude, Sony's great. Are you going to take back all that capping I was doing for Sea of Thieves? Listen, I like Sea of Thieves because, I'll be honest with you, it's different. You can play with your friends. You don't have to really do anything in that game. We were drinking in real life, me and my friends, just having a fun time, not doing anything. And then 4 hours later, you're like, you literally didn't do anything. So I still think it's a unique kind of game like that. But at the same time, I just feel like it's not exactly a game. And so that's something, that's something that they're going to have to deal with or whatever. Let me answer another quick one or two. Obscure Art says, here's the thing. Treat it like movies and release big titles exclusive for a year when it hits the $20 mark. Then stretch it to streaming win-win. Yeah, something like that. Kevin says, I think most people want Xbox to succeed as it's better for the industry, but it's getting hard to even root for the underdog when they just keep screwing up. I agree 100% with that. No, I don't drink on my own, always with friends. How interesting it would be for you to debate yourself from 2 to 4 years ago. I destroy myself. I destroy myself. I'll answer one more question, and then I'm going to get up out of here. Are you going to take back your capping for Crackdown? Listen, I took that back right away. You can't even play the multiplayer. It's dead. Nobody plays it. I was excited for it because it sounded cool, but then because look, it does sound cool. Go look back at 2015 when they showed that that demo for it. That looks awesome, where you're just like everything's destructible and it's great. When you actually play the multiplayer, first of all, you couldn't team up with your friends. That killed the game. Second of all, it was like the games happen so fast, you didn't even really get a chance to destroy anything. It was those time limits and everything. So it was really lame how they did it. I don't know. I wasn't really a fan of it. I usually rum or vodka, or sometimes we mix them. You know, my fiance and I, we mix them or whatever. So, everybody, please hit the like button. Make sure you guys check out Crossfire tonight. Should be a really good show. I appreciate everyone coming out here. I've been very much under the weather, but I do appreciate you guys coming out here and just spending some time with me. You help me feel better, and, I definitely do appreciate that. So, thank you guys so much. Hopefully, you all have a fantastic evening, and I will catch you guys later. Thank you guys so much. Dude, I had a PS4. This is a really good question. I had a PS4 for a I got one for the Order 1886. I just wanted to try it out, man, like see if I was missing anything. The problem was I was so stuck in my Xbox ways that I wasn't giving a lot of the PS4 games a proper chance. And so it wasn't until this past year that I've been playing a lot more PS4, and I've realized that, hey, man, these games are so much better and more quality. And so that's, I think, been the big difference for me. So everybody hit the like button, share it out. I appreciate it. We'll catch you guys later. Thank you so much for everything. Rack 'em up and have a fantastic day. Peace out. Love y'all. Rack 'em up.